everyone and welcome to my channel. I'm Shayla and I'm the Dorky Reader, and today's video is my favorite kind of video to film of all time. It's the one where I use my trusty TBR jar and I get to pick my book selection for the month of June. So today's video I'm going to do something a little different. I'm going to have my kids pull the tab for me, so it might be a little choppy. But they really wanted to participate, and so I'm gonna have them kind of reach over and do their own little thing, and that'll be that. But anyway, I'm really excited to get on with this. But first, weight loss journey update. I am 48.5 pounds down from my starting weight in November, and I'm really proud of myself for all that work. It's a slow trickle down, but it just keeps going down, and that's all that matters. What else? I think last month I only read, this month isn't finished yet, so I'm in the middle of my 4th book. Hopefully I finish it in time before June starts, we'll see. But I'll mention more of that in my next video, which will probably be my May reading wrap up or whatever it's called. Anyway, enough blibber blabber. I'm gonna press pause. I'm gonna summon a child, one of the 3, and they will pull for me, and then we'll get to hunting. All right, he's here and he's ready. One creepy little hand inside the jar.
Let's see. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna dig deep here.
Okay, what's it say?
A title with a number on it.
A title with a number on it. All right, I will be right there. All right, I'm back, and I have 3 selections here that I could see. Maybe there's more, but I wasn't finding them for some reason. But anyway, I'm gonna start with this one here, and I'm not sure I want to read this. It's Camp Zero. The reason why I'm just not in the mood for this one is because I read online a lot of the reviews and they were kind of wishy-washy. Like, it doesn't have a very good reading score on Goodreads. That doesn't mean I will not ever read it. It just means that chances are it's not going to be a really great book, and so that kind of turned me off to it. However, it is a smallish book. It's under 300 pages, so that is a bonus. But I think I'm going to skip it for the month of June. I don't think it really suits that month for me. All right, the other book I have here is 3 Bags Full. And I got this book at the bookstore when a really nice employee, we have the best employees in my local Barnes & Noble, and he was so chatty and he talked to me the whole time I was shopping about different books and stuff. And I remember looking at this big wall of recommended books, and a lot of them were classics or serious books, and I was just like, is there anything a little more lighthearted and whimsical, funny? Because I'm interested in picking up some of these books. I just don't know what. And he suggested this one, and it's about 3 sheep who solve a crime, and supposedly through the perspective of the sheep. It's really hilarious. So it's like an adult book, but with animals as the main characters. And I thought that sounded really funny and charming. So this book is just a little over 300, I believe. Yeah, let me see here. How many pages is this book? 342. That's not bad at all. I think I could pull that off, and then I could go and report back to him about how I found his recommendation. The other book I have is one I've been wanting to get around to, and it is a sequel, which is important. I've been trying to work on my series, and I haven't done a really good job. But this one is a sequel to, it's One Good Dragon Deserves Another, and this is the sequel to Nice Dragons Finish Last, which was one of my top 10 favorite books of last year. And so I am anxious to get into this one. This one I know will be a little bit longer of a read, but it's probably going to be really fun, and it's really tempting. I think, though, of these 2, this month I'm feeling more like I need something funny, but something different, and so I'm gonna go with 3 Bags Full. That'll be my first pick for the month of June. All right, awesome. Now I gotta summon my next child. Dun dun dun. I'll be right back. All right, we're back, and Emma's gonna pull for us. Let's wave her little hand in there. There we go. Okay, put your hand in. Ooh, right off the top. What is it? It says a mystery. How ironic. The last one I picked was a mystery. All right, I'll see you soon. All right, I have several mysteries I can pull. I know off the top of my head a few that are high on my want to read list. Where's the other one? Back there. There's that one. And that one's not over here, is it? But these two are really, I think, the two that I'm most interested in. So I'm going to go with these two. Okay, the first one I'm going to choose is Everyone in My Family Has Killed Someone. I found this at the used bookstore in the exact edition that I saw online that I wanted. So I was like, wow, that's awesome. So lucky me. And I wanted to read this because I think it was my mom, but someone recommended this to me, and I believe it was my mother, and she said it was really great. And I don't know what's going on back there. I think we saw something gross. Anyway, it sounds really good, and I haven't read a whole lot of these kind of things, so now I've got two mysteries. But I also have this book, and I've been really wanting to read this because everyone says it's so stinking good. This one is fantasy-based, and it's going to be, I guess, like Attack of the Titans style, like with giant beasts and things outside of this big walled city or something. And I believe she's this quirky detective. Maybe she's blind. I can't remember the details. And she has this helper guy who helps her solve these crimes. I'm not exactly sure. But anyway, it just sounds really Sherlock Holmes meets Attack of the Titans. Isn't that the name? Attack of the Titans. Honestly, I like anime, but I haven't watched much of that. I watched one episode but it was too gross for me. But I would probably like it more if I could safely watch it without children around. But anyway, yes. So this sounds like this is really good, and everyone who reads it really loves it. And so, I am really tempted. Let me look at the inside real quick. Just see what this is about. I think this time around I'm going to read this one, The Tainted Cup by Robert Jackson Bennett, because this has been really high on my want to read list. I believe I even have it on my 25 for 25, which I've never even shown you guys because I kind of wrote it late. I didn't write it at the beginning of the year like everyone else, and I just kind of scrambled it together, and I was like, this one's on it. So yes, I'm going to read The Tainted Cup. Yay! I'm excited. Okay, next one. All right, my third kid's here, and she's ready. Pull a prompt for me.
Pick this
All right, my dear. Okay, it says, a book that's been made into a movie or TV show. Uh-oh, we've tried this before. It's really hard. Okay, we'll try it again. All right, I found 3 of them. Maybe I have a bigger selection or my brain is working better than it was last time, but I've got 3 books to choose from right off the bat, right in front of me from my cart. So that's pretty cool. All right, so the first one I'm going to show you is The Lightning Thief by Rick Riordan. I've actually never read the Percy Jackson series. Shame on me, I know. And I've always wanted to. I watched the Disney movies or shows with my kids, and it was really fun. And I love a good middle grade, so this is a really good contender for what I'm going to read this month. Another option is The Last Unicorn, which my daughter Emma gave me for Christmas. I definitely love The Last Unicorn, the movie from my childhood. It was really dear to me and my sister. We used to watch it together. So this is also a good contender. However, I do feel like season-wise, I'm not sure if it's summer feeling. And right now it's like June, so I don't know. We'll see. The other option is Leviathan Wakes by James S.A. Corey. This series is huge. This book is pretty big. And I do love sci-fi. Sci-fi is one of my favorite genres to read. I usually don't read them as often, but when I do, I'm always like really immersed in the action because sci-fi is usually action-packed or just kind of cool and weird. But anyway, I want to read this before I ever watch The Expanse, which is what it's based off of. But I'm not really watching a lot of TV right now anyway, because it's been too crazy. And I feel like this just might be a little too much for me right now. So I'm gonna go with The Lightning Thief, Percy Jackson, because I've never read it. How could I never have read it? Also, it looks like it's gonna be a little bit easier of a read, which will help me with my TBR, because I tend to read these really big books. Usually end up choosing the bigger ones in my stack. I've noticed that about me. And then it takes up so much of my reading time in the month, and then I feel like, oh, I've only read like two books and it's more than halfway through the month. What am I gonna do? And I panic. So this will help me get through my TBR quicker. And like I said, I really want to. Okay, next prompt. Let's call another kid in. All right, he's here and he's ready, and he's about to lower. What's it say?
Has the letters E, O, and H on cover.
Thank you, Odin. I appreciate it. All right, there's a lot of books with the letters E, O, and H on the cover, and I have those letters chosen because they're the first letters of my kids' names. So let's see here. One of them I have is A Harvest of Hearts. I really want to read this. I love Howl's Moving Castle, and this book is supposed to be like kind of Howl's Moving Castle inspired. And I have 4 cats total, and 3 of them have names from that movie. I have a Howl, I have a Calcifer, and I have a Sophie. So obviously this story is going to be really great for me. I am looking forward to this. Another option I have here is Blood Over Brighthaven, which I really want to read. I really do. Everyone says it's like the best book they've read all year. They're obsessed with it, and it's about this girl who lives in this world where magic is something that only men are allowed to use. She goes to this school. She's like the first girl allowed in this school to do this magic of whatever sort it is, and everyone's trying to kind of keep her pushed down, like they don't want her to succeed. And so she pairs up with this guy who's, I think, a janitor, and together some stuff happens. I'm not exactly sure, but it's got some really good like female empowerment moments and really good magic and really great characters. And I've never read M.L. Wang, and I really want to. I think though I might want to start with Sword of Kaigen, because everyone says that one's the better of the two, so that would be a better first impression. But I do still want to read this. I might though wait. We'll see. Another option I have is Thornhedge by T. Kingfisher. I love T. Kingfisher. I love some of the books I've read by her. I read Sword Heart and Nettle and Bone, and I think that's it so far, just the 2, but they were great. Both of them were great. And I feel like this book is so short and easy to read. This would be really great to slide into my TBR and then just finish and say, yes, I have read that book. That would be awesome. But you know what I'm gonna do? I already kind of made up my mind. I showed you those books just because I wanted to pretend like I had other options, but really this is the book I'm going to be reading. The Dungeon Anarchist's Cookbook. E-O-H, they're there. I'm not cheating. This is the book I want to read. I want to read book 3 from Carl's adventure, because I had to wait last month and it was just killing me that I didn't have a cool Dungeon Crawler Carl book to read. So yes, I want to know what happens. I need to know about Princess Donut, and I need to know about Carl and his bare feet and his underwear, and I want to know about all the things they get into. And I believe the last book ended on a note where you get to meet a new character of some sort, and I'm curious about this character. I don't want to spoil it for people who haven't read it, but so that is also another reason to keep reading, and I'm just looking forward to it so much. So obviously this is my choice. Yay! I'm so excited. I got the book I really wanted. I mean, I wanted the other ones too, but that one I wanted more than all the books combined. And now it's on my list, so I feel like I can breathe. Okay, I need to summon the second child. The first, well, actually she's the third child, but yeah, you know what I mean. Maybe you don't know what I mean, but it's okay. I'm gonna call Emma. All right, she's here and she is grand and she's going to pick one for me. Yay. Okay, hold on. Oh, wait, I'll read it. Let me see. It says, a book that intimidates you. No! All right, I'm back and I have a big stack of books that intimidate me. Dun, dun, dun. I didn't bring all the books that intimidate me because I thought that was crazy. And there are many on my shelves that intimidate me because either their size or whatever. But here are a few examples of books that intimidate me. One, The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson. This one, the Stormlight Archive, is huge. It's a really big series. His writing has never been really easy for me to process. It's good, but it's just, it takes a while. And knowing that I would have over 1,000 pages of that kind of writing is daunting. I do want to get to it, but I haven't read all of the original Mistborn series yet. So before I can start something like this, I'm going to need to finish that. Another option here is The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexander Dumas. And again, way over 1,000 pages. It's a classic, though I do hear that this classic is really one that is like, it transcends times. Like, it's not gonna feel like really old school. Like, you're gonna read it and it'll be like a good story. Like, it's just really good. And you can still enjoy it in these times. And it's about a man, I believe, who was falsely accused of crime he didn't commit and served time in prison for it. And when he is released, he is seeking vengeance for this crime, for this accusation that he was given or something along those lines. Anyway, everyone says it's really fantastic and really worth the effort. But this is well over 1,000 pages. I don't see myself doing that this month. Another option I have is Robin Hobb's The Assassin, or just Assassin's Apprentice. The reason this book intimidates me, one, I hear that it does go a little bit slowly, which I like slow fantasies. I really do. However, the world that Robin Hobb has created is so vast and so huge. It's like, sure, this first trilogy is just 3 books. However, it's the start of a whole giant world for Robin Hobb. Sorry, hold on one moment. I gotta go blow my nose. Anyway, so because it's so big, this world, I feel like starting something right now with her, it might not be the best time for me. Though, I mean, I am interested in reading this. It's not even that long, and it is doable. And I probably will enjoy it, but I'm just not sure. So I'll put you down. Maybe it's just, why it intimidates me. Another option I have is The Stand by Stephen King. I've read one Stephen King book in my life, and that was it. And I did not know about the thing in it that makes it kind of icky, okay? So forgive me. I didn't know it was in there, and it totally blindsided me when it happened. And I was like, okay, that's gross and inappropriate, but you know, I'm willing to give the author another chance because the writing was fantastic. And from what I understand, that book's kind of, I think it's on like he doesn't hopefully do that again, that kind of thing. But anyway, if you know, you know. Anyway, it was well written. It really was. But it wasn't scary, and I was surprised because it was supposed to be this horror book. And I thought I would be more afraid reading a horror book. It was my very first horror book. That's why I read it. I was like, I'm going to give horror a chance. And then I did, and it wasn't that scary. So I was like, maybe I can handle this. Or that book just isn't scary. But anyway, I totally went off topic. The Stand is a Stephen King book I researched kind of, and I found 2 Stephen King books that I thought might be more up my alley. And The Stand, since it's a dystopian post-apocalyptic world, and it's his big magnum opus, it's supposed to be like one of his best works, I thought, okay, you know what, I'll give this a chance. but it is huge and it has to be read by me, I think, in a time where I'm not way behind on my reading numbers like right now, and maybe a little bit more when I'm in the mood for just really soaking in one book for like weeks at a time, because this is going to take me a few weeks. The other Stephen King book, though, I think is the best contender, and that's going to be Stephen King, Billy Summers. I believe this is like an assassin or a spy or something, like it's some kind of action adventure book by him. It's a different genre altogether, and from what I understand, it's still really great, but it seems to be more in line with what I usually like to read. So I think, and it's like a little under 500 or a little over 500 pages, which is big, but not 1,000 pages big. So I think I'm gonna go with Stephen King, Billy Summers. Wish me luck. I mean, I've been wanting to read this, and I want to give Stephen King another chance because I know he's a really great writer, and I believe that people love him for a reason. So hopefully this one connects with me more than it. All right, I'll call my daughter Heidi. She'll give me my sixth prompt, and then I'll do my own for the 7th prompt because I wanted to do 7 this month. Not because I think I'm going to read 7, I won't, but I like having a variety of books to choose from depending on what mood I'm in, and I also just think it's fun. It's fun to find books. Okay, here we go. All right, she's here and she's ready. And we have a book with a magical creature. All right, thanks, Heidi. All right, I have a few options, and I honestly don't know which one I'm gonna pick because there's several really good ones. I might be able to rule out a few of these, like this one. When the Moon Hatched by Sarah A. Parker. I'm not sure I'm in the mood for this because I just got a book that intimidates me on my TBR, and I feel like adding a book that's this big to the stack is pushing it for me. Honestly, I know I wouldn't read it. I probably wouldn't grab it at all for that month, and then that would be kind of like not as fun for me. So I'm going to put this to the side for now just because it's just too big. But I'm guessing this has dragons based on the cover and from what I've heard about the book. I'm also not sure I'm going to like it very much, but maybe I will. I don't know. There's also The Last Unicorn, which my daughter got me, like I said, for Christmas. And I feel like this could be a good option. I do feel like season-wise, I want to read this more in like fall or winter. I don't know why. That's so strange. Maybe it's very spring and summer inside, but I just, something about this, when I remember the movie, I just feel like I want to be indoors and bundled up watching that movie, and maybe I want to be indoors and bundled up reading this book, but we'll see. Another option I have is the 3rd book in the Winnowing Fire, I think Winnowing Fire trilogy. Anyway, spoiler alert, this might be one of the books I've read last month because this is book 3 in the trilogy, and I am looking forward to what happens next. However, since I just read the other one, sometimes I like a little bit of a pause between when I read things, though maybe it's better for my brain if I just keep going. It is long, not as long as book 2, but well over 500 pages, so another chunk, but we'll see. That's an option. I also have this book, The Floating Worlds by Axio, and I believe in this it does mention that, let's see here, there is this creature, like some kind of a magical creature that gave, like, did something, and then I think that's like what they're hunting or what the enemy is. I'm not exactly sure. Where does it say that? Kills the monster, effort too late. She goes to the mountains where the creature came from. So yeah, there's some kind of a magical creature in this book, and I am looking forward to reading it because I really want something somewhat romantic. I'm not sure if any of the books I've chose so far has any romance in it, and that is a bit of a bummer for me. And I feel like this one has a higher chance of having romance. And so I'm going to put this on the definitely maybe pile. Another option I have is the Whisperwicks, Labyrinth of Lost and Found. It has a Minotaur, and I've heard good things about this middle grade, and I want to read it so that I can lend it to my daughter. But I already have one middle grade in there. I have the Lightning Thief, and I'm not sure if I want to have like multiple middle grade books in the same month. Usually one is pretty good. It's a good amount, and I really like middle grades. Oh, I don't know. I'm gonna put you to the side. And then the other option I have is One Good Dragon Deserves Another. And obviously there's dragons in this book. It is book 2 in a series. And it's about 450-ish pages long. So it's kind of long. Not as long as this one. I'm confident this one's gonna be better. Does that make sense? I'm sure, like, I'm gonna like it because I really liked book 1. So my confidence in this book is greater. And it's the part 2 of a series. However, something about this book is really calling to me, and I wanna give this author a chance. I know she wrote The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea, and I remember reading just the first chapter of that and liking it. So I am thinking that I'm going to choose The Floating World. I really hope it's not cheating. I don't know if there really is like a magical creature. There's some kind of a creature, so it counts. At least I think so. Unless like this whole book, there's like not a single mention of the creature, but whatever. This is what I'm choosing, The Floating World by Axio. And I love the picture so much. I really want to know what the floating world is like. I'm very curious by it. And I think that they look so like, I don't know, the drawing style, whoever drew them did a really good job. I like it. Okay, that's my 6th pick. And I have one more. And this time I get to do it. Yay! I'm so excited. My kids are funny. Okay. Don't look. Close your eyes and hope for the best. Whatever this is. Whatever this is. Let go. It says, a book set in outer space. Okay. I think we can work with that. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back, and I have 4 options here. I'm not sure if all of them count or not, but maybe they will. I have with me here, again, Leviathan Wakes, this massive series that I probably won't start, even though I know I'm gonna love this series. So, just not this month. Not this month. But forgive me, all you fans of this amazing series. I know it's really good. Just give me time. The other option I have is Project Hail Mary, which is a standalone, which really helps. And it is on one of those, like, there's like on Goodreads, there's some kind of like monthly earn a badge if you read one of these books things. And this is on one of those, I believe the traveling one, because it has like an outer space option. And I was like, ooh, that could work. And I know a lot of people have recommended this book to me saying that I would love it, and like my personal friends. And so I feel kind of obligated to give it a go. So I'm gonna put this on the side as a maybe. The other option I have is Aurora Rising by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. Those 2 wrote the Illuminate Files, and I freaking love the Illuminate Files. Probably one of my favorite science fiction YA books of all time. It's so action-packed. It's so like twists and turns and surprising, and it's just the characters are all fun to read, and it's just really, it was really well written. I really like the Illuminate Files. And so I am anxious to get to this too, knowing that I'll probably really love it. I really do. Let me see. The other option I have, which might be the one I choose, is Cress from the Lunar Chronicles. I believe this one counts as in outer space because from what I understand of Cress, is she is imprisoned on a satellite. And so that would be definitely in outer space. Also, it would be continuing that series, which I've had a lot of fun with. I loved Cinder, I loved Scarlet, and I'm pretty sure I'm gonna love Cress. People say this is their favorite in the series. And having met the male love interest for this book in book 2, I loved him. He was so charming and fun, and I can't wait to see his romance bloom in Cress. So I think I'm gonna pick Cress because then I can move forward with it. I'm almost done. It'll be book 3 out of 4, and that's really cool. So I'm gonna choose Cress as my final book chosen. Boom! My goal for this month is to read at least one book that each kid picked. And so that way I'll look through it and I'll say, okay, well, Odin chose this prompt, and so I'll pick at least one of those. And same thing with my youngest and my oldest. So wish me luck. Anyway, I had a lot of fun this filming session. I'm not sure if the lighting is better. I tried, so wish me luck. My husband's been trying to give me all these tips. I am a little blinded right now from the lights that are beaming down on my face, so hopefully it looks better on camera. We'll find out, and if not, we're gonna keep working with it, and I'll just keep trying new things. I put it in a new spot in my living room just to be like different, but maybe it doesn't look as great as I think it does, and we'll just have to suck it up for this video. All right, thank you so much for being with me, for letting me ramble about books, my favorite thing to do, and letting my kids be a part of this. It was so fun. Okay, bye. I hope you have a great month of June.